A tempest has unfolded in my life, one that I never imagined I would face. The storm was born not from an external force, but from within the walls of my own home, from the very heart of the woman I thought I knew completely. My wife, or more accurately, my soon-to-be ex-wife, has unraveled in ways I could never have anticipated. We had been married for 6 years, a journey I believed was steadfast and unbreakable. Life had brought us challenges, yes, but nothing I thought would breach the fortress of our bond. It was, in my mind, a relationship unshaken by the forces of life. Yet, I learned that our foundation, built over years of shared laughter and struggles, was more fragile than I had dared to believe. Her revelation of pregnancy last year should have been the happiest moment of our lives, but it marked the beginning of a shift in our reality. I felt joy, yes, an overwhelming sense of anticipation, a heart full of dreams about our future, about the nursery, the baby's name, the tiny clothes, but at the same time, something felt off. Small cracks began to show in her behavior. Strange, unexplained outbursts, inexplicable late nights, and a sense that something was hidden behind the brightness of her smile. Her phone became an inseparable part of her, guarded with an intensity one had never before witnessed. Then came the mysterious meetings, the sudden girls' nights, and the cascade of questions that I dared not voice. Yet, beneath the surface I knew. I felt the shift, the growing suspicion, the weight of doubt settling heavily in my chest. The revelation was inevitable, but no less devastating when it arrived. I learned that she had been entangled with a man from her office. The affair that had once been a shadow in my mind now stood before me in the cruel light of truth. The child she carried was not mine. He, the man she had crossed paths with, was the father. The revelation hit me like a cold rush of water, leaving me breathless, stunned, disoriented. I could no longer deny the reality she had concealed. When she confessed, the air between us was thick with unspoken words. She cried, tears streaming down her face, pleading for forgiveness, for understanding, for my love. She tried to explain, to claim that it was all a mistake, that her heart still belonged to me. But as I listened to her desperate words, I knew that this wasn't some fleeting mistake. It was a betrayal that had been nurtured over time, a lie woven into the very fabric of our relationship. Months later, when the child was born, she asked me, against all reason, to sign the birth certificate. She wanted me to be recognized as the father of a child that wasn't mine, to take on a role that was not mine to claim. I stood there, my mind swirling with disbelief. How could she, in the aftermath of all that had transpired, expect such a thing? With a firm, unwavering voice, I told her no. I would not pretend to be a father to a child I did not father. I refused to sign my name on a document that would falsely declare me as the father. Her reaction was explosive. Anger, disbelief, and desperation all flared in her voice as she accused me of abandoning her, of abandoning the child. She cried out, "The baby needs a father." Her words pierced the air, but my resolve did not waver. I knew this was not a matter of cold-heartedness. It was about respecting myself and the truth. I could not forge a connection that wasn't real, no matter how deeply she tried to guilt me into it. She tried to convince me, to tell me that her affair was over, that she longed for reconciliation, that we could start anew with therapy, that there was still a chance for us to rebuild. But as she spoke of the family we had once dreamed of, I knew that this vision of togetherness was no longer possible. The family we had worked so hard to create had already fallen apart, torn by lies and deceit. And so, with a heavy heart, I made my choice. I would seek a divorce. I would no longer remain entangled in a marriage built on deceit. I packed my things, carved out space for myself, and began the difficult journey of rediscovering who I was. The man with whom she had once shared her life now seemed to want no part of it, abandoning her and the child in the wake of his own decisions. He had moved on, leaving her to navigate the storm of single motherhood, her pleas for forgiveness falling on deaf ears. Some might see me as harsh, but I refused to accept that judgment. I do not regret my decision. Life, as it often does, has a way of testing our resolve, pushing us to our limits. But through it all, I have remained steadfast. This journey, painful as it is one that I must walk in order to preserve my sense of self, to honor the boundaries I have set for myself and the life I deserve. The path ahead is uncertain, but in the midst of the storm, I find a strange comfort in my unwavering resolve. Life has a way of throwing us into turbulent waters, and it is in those moments that we must decide who we are and what we stand for. As the storm rages around me, I remain steady, knowing that I am navigating through it with a strength I never knew I had.